Biomutant feels like the type of game that could have been a fan favourite earlier in the generation, but with the open world sandbox becoming a tentpole of AAA gaming, its late arrival on the Xbox One leaves Experiment 101's debut game stuck in the very crowded shadow of the genre's best, as more games and genres adopt a similar approach. That being said, this unique kung fu fable offers a competent and mostly enjoyable experience that just doesn't quite stick the landing. Moments of fun and addictive exploration clash with technical issues, a lack of polish, and a general disconnect from your actions to both the story and the world around you. Still, fans of expansive worlds will nevertheless find plenty to enjoy. The world of Biomutant is governed by the Tree of Life, a source of energy that keeps the land thriving. But it is in peril, as the combination of a natural disaster poisoning the tree and a quartet of powerful monsters gnawing at the roots could spell the end of the world. Not only that, but the tribes of each land are divided due to their differing alignments and how they want to heal the tree. That is where your user-created character comes in, a mutated warrior shaped by grief and life-changing events as a youngling. It's then up to the player how they approach the task at hand, as while eliminating the World Eaters is mandatory, choosing a tribe alters how you approach rivals and taking over the land, allowing for pacifism or domination. Everything is narrated in third person by David Shaw Parker, who proves game for the role, but it does leave you feeling disconnected from the narrative, and even muting the narration leaves you listening to gibberish. While the thread offers a clear sense of progression, it often feels like your actions have little impact on the world and story, and it lacks a truly memorable moment.
Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you.
The core loop here is perfectly palatable, if made up of familiar components. The world is expansive and attractive, divided into several key biomes, which range from the inhospitable dead zone rife with oil spills to the more tropical Surfipelago. Some areas within these feature hazards which require protection, whether it's radiation, toxicity, or heat, and finding unique suits can provide instant protection from one element, along with your gear offering resistance to each. There's a ton of activities and collectibles to seek out here. NPCs offer dozens of side quests, which often require item fetching. Secondary characters give you unique surfaces, including changing your fur, and old world objects each come with their own puzzle to solve and rewards to gain. But like the story, partaking in these can feel closer to busy work than impactful action. While helping locals can offer you alignment points for being good or evil, turning the buttons on a washing machine feels like a meaningless task, and a lot of the side content sadly falls into this category. But like how the narrative focuses on the destiny of the hero, much of Biomutant's strengths come from building your warrior. Wung Fu governs your stats, attacks, and actions, while mutations build your repertoire of magic attacks. When you enter a combat stance, you can effortlessly swap between melee and firearms, letting you chain those attacks with dodging beautifully. It feels like a seamless mesh that rewards super Wung Fu moves if you perform a chain of unique finishing abilities, including potent melee attacks and slow-mo gunfire. Building your armory is also a key part, literally. You can craft weapons and firearms, using a base while adding stat boosting components. This is where the addictive traits come into play, as the loop of exploration rewards gear and resources to build better equipment, thus making this exploration easier as you progress. While you do grow a touch overpowered a little too quickly, the game definitely incentivizes you to open every chest, loot any and all containers, and scrap weaker gear to get more resources. One of the cooler parts of Biomutant is the series of boss fights against the tree-chomping World Eaters. While plenty of larger foes make their presence felt, and often come with bigger health bars, these boss fights dwarf them all in size, challenge, and creativity. Often coming with 3 phases, each test your dodging capabilities as well as one of your newly discovered mechanical elements. Whether it's dueling with the Jumbo Puff in the Mechton suit, dodging splash attacks from the Porky Puff in the hovercraft-esque Goo Glider, or throwing certain creatures you capture to distract each of the monstrous beasts, it feels like a distinctive encounter compared to the rest of the game's tamer roster of foes you encounter through general exploration. Biomutant benefits from a generally cool aesthetic, but one which can be harmed by a lack of polish. The anthropomorphized creatures which now rule this world, mixed with traditional kung fu principles and the varying biome types you explore, prove an appealing combination, such as the factions you meet, which range from tranquil to aggressive. Some wear more flamboyant clothing, while others scrape on by using recycled clothing like old football helmets as their armour. Scarcely used, but excellent music heightens tension, and the emotion of exploration equally well. And combat can hit quite hard audibly during both melee and shooting fracas. But often these highs can be spoiled by a myriad of bugs. Textures not popping in, audio cutting out completely, hard crashes, and stuttering all hamper these presentational highs. Biomutant is one of those games that doesn't step out of line with any noticeable flaws, but also doesn't break barriers with relatively safe gameplay. The unique setting is hampered by underwhelming and disconnected storytelling, the deep list of content can feel like busy work rather than impactful objectives, and presentational highs can be undermined by technical issues. However, those with a keen interest in open world games may still unearth enjoyment here, especially with a solid mechanical base powering much of the game. Perhaps with the jank cleaned off and a better mission design, this could have been a swan song for the genre during the 8th generation. Instead, it ends up a modestly captivating missed opportunity.
As the moment fades and is lost, the only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on.